And I am Philip McLeod once again. That was a commercial break. Apologies for taking too long, but we are here again. And on set, I have wonderful, Thika-born and raised son, Juma Hemedi. And he's going by hashtag Juma Hemedi or MP Thika Town 2022. And this is wonderful having him again. And we've been discussing and articulating matters affecting people of Thika, and he being an aspirant to take next seat in the office of the Member of Parliament. He's really telling us what he has for us. And the last question was about what does he has for us, and he was explaining. We continue from there. How are you, sir? Continue, just take it on.
Thank you. I had explained issues to do with the youth and issues to do with the youth empowerment, youth mentorship, and education.
Yes.
What I was explaining in terms of infrastructure,
yes,
of the schools and the public primary schools, for that matter. We need to equip and modernize the schools that we have.
Yes.
Public primary schools have some of the biggest facilities in terms of land and in terms of room for expansion.
Yes.
We need to do something on that. In Thika, we have roughly about 56 plus schools in primary school.
Yes.
And we have roughly about 10 or thereabout secondary day schools. If we are serious about the 100% transmission from primary schools to secondary school, then we need to invest more on day secondary schools.
Yes.
And the thinking is very simple. Many of those students who will be bright but needy, or their parents can be able to afford, of course they'll be taken to national, maybe extra county and county schools. However, we have those others that did not manage to get 300 and something, but they managed 100 and something. What do we do with this population? The government has been very energetic in mopping up every other person that has not yet gone to school. And as per the statistics I had the other time, they said about 98-99% of them have already been taken in. We need to take this further. We need to take it further by that kind of investment. We do not necessarily have to look for extra land elsewhere. Primary schools in Thika have land that we can be able to add extra classes and make a secondary school out of it. It has been done before. It has been done at Queen of Holy Rosary and QRS, just a few meters from where we are. It has been done, of course, before in Gatuanyaga, and it can still continue to be done. We have a school that was done by Broadway Bakery.
Yes.
And that was a very good broader partnerships and collaboration with the business community and with the manufacturing community.
Yes.
If we enhance that and if we broaden that network, we will be able to get more and more of these facilities on board.
Yes.
We know in Kenya resources are scarce. And that does not mean that we cannot utilize the ones that we have prudently. We must be able to remove the greed that the political class or leadership has had, that in every tender you must get something out of it. That leads to poor workmanship. It leads to schools or facilities that are not properly done. Others are collapsing, others are going down. We should not allow that. And that is why I'm saying selfless kind of leadership and removing greed. There's nothing that has changed between what was being disbursed between the year 2013 and 2017 and what was disbursed between 2017 and 20 and right now, or maybe even moving forward to 2022. But it has always been a question, or it has always been an issue of leadership. Can you be able to utilize the resources prudently and to the intended purposes? I have no interest with who becomes what or who does what kind of a contract. I am not a contractor myself, and I have no interest of whether or not you are the one or the other person is the one. But my interest is just one. I need to make sure that the people who are doing this kind of works are people from Thika. that if a school is being done somewhere in Kameno, that it is Kameno young people and Kameno people are benefiting from those jobs.
Yes.
If it is a painting job, or if it is a facelifting, if it is, those are the people who are benefiting from that job. That's the only way in which you can be able to grow in the economy and be able to give these people practical experiences in terms of even bidding for bigger jobs. Because what is challenging young people today, even if they have their own companies or groups, is the technical expertise that certain kinds of jobs require you to have certain kinds of qualifications and requires you to be able to have done this kind of jobs.
Yes.
So if you don't give them opportunities right from where they are, the opportunities to do the paintings for this class, the opportunity to put tiles in this class, the opportunity to do that extra class or to do the roofing, then these people will not get the experience that is needed for them to be able to even bid for bigger kind of jobs.
Yes.
So mine would be looking through those kind of works. And like I said, I am not interested with public money or public resources. I have done work so far. I sit in a public institution, and the entire kind of work that we have been doing has been largely selfless, because you have ultimately the citizens and the people of Thika to serve, and that's all I am interested in.
Wow.
There will of course be, like I mentioned, a movement of infrastructure.
Yes.
To me, leaders do two things. And those two things are the summation of every other thing that we talk about leaders. First thing is to lobby and bring resources,
Yes.
projects into the localities. If it's a road that needs to be done, if it is a drainage that needs to be done, if it's electricity that needs to be done. Lobbying means you do not necessarily have to have the money
Yes.
to do it,
Yes.
but you know the institution that can do it, you lobby for that to come.
Very true.
Or you know that you can do a partnership with another institution, go and lobby for that partnership
Very true.
to come. The other day I saw Governor Wasingishu
Yes.
flagging off about 51 young people
Yes.
who will be getting training in Finland,
Yes.
in various colleges and various universities.
Wow.
That is a very good leadership perspective, because you may not have all the money, but then through those kind of partnership,
Yes.
these young people will come back different. And I know that because I participated in an international exchange program
Yes.
in Norway, and you don't come back the way you went.
Wow.
What you have seen in those places, the kind of experiences that you have gotten, are the kind of experiences that you would want to come back and impact
Yes.
on your society. So when we talk about the infrastructure and giving the young people opportunities to do this kind of jobs,
Yes.
I mean exactly that, because like I said, for over 16 years, I've done a lot of mentorship for youth, and there are a lot of young people here who are doing very, very great things.
Wow.
All they need is that push. All they need is that will, that you're giving them a free hand to be able to explore their potential and their creativity into it. Yes.
I like that. That is addressing the question of kazi mtaani, and then it came to these opportunities that were announced by the government. The nurses could apply job in UK.
Yes.
And it's a nice approach to it. Rather, sorry for that. And we heard you talking about the CBST. CBST means curricular based skills training. That's why you were talking the question of if you go to Thika Technical or MKU, you might find there are no people from Thika, because people are looking at white collar jobs compared to literally plumbing, the electrification and simple works that has to be done by us and people from within. So my next question will go to the hotbed of politics in this area, and majority are saying Central Kenya or the mountain lacks a kingpin, and there's no more unity the way you used to enjoy it. What is your opinion about that?
I've recently looked through the news, and people are engaging, people are coalescing.
Yes.
This is a very healthy thing. Anytime big decisions are supposed to be arrived at,
yes,
you will see people always coalesce, and people talk, and people engage, and to try and find out whether the their interests are going to be catered for by whoever is going to form government.
Yes.
And it's something that needs to be encouraged, especially in all communities. There's a saying in Kikuyu that the small house, nyumba nini, eshiraga otuko. So it discusses their issues
at night.
At night.
Yeah.
And so when you're discussing your issues, within the language that you are able to understand,
yes.
and within interests that you want to, then it is something that is welcome.
Yes.
This is because politics is about interests.
Yeah.
And these interests sometimes are community, sometimes are national, sometimes are regional, sometimes are county, and sometimes they are constituency. So how best do we negotiate with an advantage
yes.
that we can be able to have, that when we will be moving on to the next dispensation, we will not feel left out. It is a debate that had been started even earlier in the issues of the document that we discussed a lot, the BBI, and it was a national conversation.
Yes.
Some sense of people are feeling left out of arrangement. Some communities in Kenya, especially the minority and other marginalized, feel that the arrangement that is political is not taking into their is not bringing them into the table.
Yes.
Others are feeling that their numbers are big enough to warrant them to have extra boundaries and extra jurisdictions.
Yes.
But then that is not there in terms of resource allocation and equity in distribution of resources. So for me, it's something that should be encouraged. People in Western also should coalesce.
Yeah.
In the US elections, they usually call it caucuses. The caucus of this area will caucus together and agree on the issues. These are the issues we want addressed. So we are placing them on the table,
yes.
and these are the people that can be able to adequately well represent ourselves. So I look at it as a welcome thing. The only thing that we should be putting away is the issue of bastardizing every other person or every other people who are trying to come up with something. If you realize that there are people who are discussing something that you want to be part of,
yes.
You can also ask to be invited, or you can just invite yourself there because you're also part of the issue
yes.
that is being discussed. So instead of throwing insults to that and saying this one is this and that, that does not help develop or move a community
yes.
forward. Let's all come, let's agree, this is what we want, this will be the stake that we want to claim, and who best is going to safeguard these interests.
Yes.
And
let's keep on moving forward.
Yes.
All right. That one will usher me a question of whenever it is, after 5 years period, we are divided alongside our ethnicity groups and groupings. And this now brings in the hate. That's when I remember, whoa, Juma Hemedi is Mwaniki and Philip McLeod is Onyango.
Yes.
And it's becoming something that it's in us, as much as we've come alongside different tribes, but this brings in the hate, political hate, and someone will say something that you are not even expecting to hear from them, and they're the very people you've honored for the longest time. So how do we approach this? How do we deal with this matter of hate and insults with a lot of gloominess and darkness? How do we deal with that?
It's unfortunate that this kind of environment, comes every time we have an election. And before election, nobody remembers their tribe.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers their community.
Yes.
But just before we come to an election, then that's when now, let's community so-and-so come in here and let's discuss about our community issues.
Yes.
And it's also, again, interesting because politics in Kenya and in Africa in general
yes.
have always been mobilized through ethnicity.
Yes.
And it's not Africa alone. I mean, other places, some countries in Europe also do the same.
Yeah.
If we do not mobilize along ethnic lines, we will mobilize along religious lines. We will mobilize along race. We will I mean, even in America, they have accepted the fact that they too needs to mobilize along Hispanics, African Americans, and natives, and all this.
The blue and versus the red.
Yes, but we should not lose the focus
Yes.
that we are trying to build a country called Kenya. And this country, irrespective of what tribe you're from,
Yes.
needs you to be able to put your hands on deck and take it forward. Also, it's unfortunate that during these times we caricature and draw our opponents to score political points, and for you to be seen to be the person who knows how to insult more, and to hurl a lot of insults more. And like I'm saying, all this is happening is being done by leaders. And I think it's high time as Kenyans we now call ourselves into individual meetings. These individual meetings is what kind of people do we want as role models of society and as our leaders and as people that our children will be watching. Do we want to watch someone who keeps on insulting the other person, that children grow with insults? Remember, the people you're insulting are mothers, their fathers, their husbands, their wives. And there's that respect for dignity of a human being that needs to be there. Politics is not a life and death situation. So what if I am not elected MP? I mean, I only presented myself to the people of Thika to ask them that they need to consider me, to share with them what my vision is, to share with them what I can be able to do with them. If they say no to me, then I'm supposed to accept what the wishes of the Thika people are. And if someone else was contesting and also they did not make it, then we need to give each other that kind of respect. And if you look also at mature democracies, whenever they're having their discussions and they're having their debates, they don't lose the focus that their country comes first. For us in Thika, it is our constituency that comes first. None of us is living, and all of us call this place home. So even after the elections, we are going still to engage. Even after the elections, you'll pass by the school of your opponent's child.
Very true.
What will those children see of us? Will they say that this is the guy who insulted the other one, unprintable and unspeakable things? I've asked my team and my friends that even though those things will come, even though people will hurl insults at my person or myself and other things, they shouldn't answer back with insults. And you see, you are a reflection of what you're giving out.
Very true.
Sometimes people are stressed, and the only way they can remove their stress is by insulting you.
Very true.
So if you reply back with an insult, you are taking their stresses in. I've asked them that whenever someone tells you something bad, just reply with these 3 words that will sum up our spirit. God bless you. Someone telling you something bad, just tell them God bless you. Because also sometimes people are angry and jealous of the blessings that you have. That today you're sitting here interviewing someone who would most likely become the MP for Thika. Someone is jealous about you. Oh, why this guy?
Someone who is going to check after CDF.
Someone is going to look after 100 and something million shillings. Oh, this guy. I mean, it is neither here nor there. You need to be glad that God has been able to bless that person to be able to be bold enough to take a step of service. And you also need to ask yourself, how can I help to make this work? How can I help to make my town work and to make my constituency work? I volunteer a lot of ideas at times. I do write articles where I have given free ideas. Some of them have been implemented, and one of them got implemented the other time in Nairobi in terms of hourly parkings. You share knowledge, you share things, irrespective of who is going to take them.
Very true.
But do not be jealous about someone or insult anyone. So we are not going to engage in that kind of insults. I am home. I am contesting at home. Unaambiwa ukiwa nyumbani hautukanani, haurushi matusi nyumbani.
Very true.
Lazima uwe mwadilifu na mtu mwenye nidhamu. So if other people will come from elsewhere and throw insults at us, maybe that's their nature, but it's not in our nature.
Thank you.
My nature too.
I like that. You say mcheza kwao utuzwa. Very nice. So even as we go to conclude, but before that, I have an interesting question for you. You happen to be the current MD at Thiwasco?
No, I'm not the MD.
You are there?
I sit in the board of directors.
Yes.
I'm a director in the...
You are the director.
Yes.
So, being the director, and Thiwasco is all about water and waste management and all that stuff. How is it? Just tell us about how is it first?
For me, it was a first.
Yes.
It was a first public entity that I was getting to sit in the board. I've been in other boards in civil society organizations and schools. I applied for the position when devolution came. They wanted people who can be able to re-strategize and bring back the companies into profitability.
Yes.
And also people who had some community background, work with communities.
Yes.
So I applied for the job, and it's not necessarily a job, it's an opportunity to serve. We don't receive salaries, we are given allowances for meetings.
Yes.
But I had a calling for this work, as because, like I mentioned earlier, challenges of water in Thika began in 2008.
Yeah.
However, when I was in primary school, the extension of the water treatment plant was done. I think I was in class 5 or in class 6. So we were taken from primary school to the water treatment plant when it was being inaugurated, and we sang songs. Little kids, you were called to sing songs in place of the guests.
Yes.
There were mayors then, and we were very excited.
Yeah.
And in the communication, someone said that we have now taken care of water problems in Thika.
Yes.
Until the year 2000.
Yes.
And every one of us thought 2000 is a very far
year.
Yeah. I also didn't think that 2000 was very near.
Yeah.
But then nothing was done in terms of infrastructure at that time. And now we are dealing with infrastructural problems that could have been done about 20 or so years ago. But when I was appointed to the board, I joined together with other colleagues. I was appointed as the youngest in the board.
Yeah.
I remained the youngest until recently when we had some new board members. But in the first meeting, I was also elected as the audit chair.
Okay.
I do not have a finance background.
Yeah.
And everyone would think that audit is something that people need to have a finance background in. But,
mathematics
mathematics gurus and the rest of the things.
Yeah.
But audit is about looking at processes. It is about looking at compliance. If we are breaking the law, for instance, in terms of pollution, all these kind of things. Work that I had done previously in communities with Red Cross. And through that, we have strengthened the company. And I have been the audit chair since then up until now.
Wow.
Over the 6 or so years that I've been there, we have oversighted an annual turnover of close to 700 and something million shillings.
Wow.
But cumulatively is more than 3-point-something billion shillings. And like I said, I'm not interested in plundering public finances.
Yes.
All that I'm looking for is situations where people will be served better and prudent utilization of the resources. I grew up in this town. I would not want to be responsible for the person who ate the money that was meant for pipes to Gashagi, or that pipes to Kiandutu. And every time you pass there, you see people don't have water, and it is money that you had, gotten involved yourself in. So I have been very categorical in terms of the quality of work that we need to have, in terms of oversight of utilization of resources, and through that we have been able to stabilize the company. When we came in, the company was in serious debts and serious asset issues. We have grown it 2 times from the point that we found it. We have regained donor confidence.
Wow.
And today we have projects that have been already approved for utilization. Over the next 3 or so years, Thika will be busy with the water and sewerage programs and projects. We have secured over 12 billion shillings in terms of donor money. Next year, around January, we will start the second treatment plant.
Did you say 12 billion?
Yes, over 12 billion shillings.
Wow.
To get there, you have to create an institutional framework. You have to have policies in place. You have to first root out the bad things that are happening in that company,
Yes.
and make it, anyone who looks at it realizes that, oh, there's something that you do.
Wow.
So I have a history of transforming companies and
Wow.
transforming organizations.
Wow.
And there are several of them that have sat in their board, and today we can say that something has been done.
Wow.
So over the next 3 to 4, maybe 5 years, those projects will be getting implemented. The first one will be starting from January of 2022.
Yes.
It was delayed because of other issues. That means we are doing a second treatment plant.
Yes.
Juma Hemedi that will inject about 15 million liters of water into the system.
So how many liters of water are you doing right now?
We're doing about 36 million liters.
So plus 15.
Plus 15.
Wow.
That will bridge the gap that we have. Daily we have a shortage of about 15 million liters. So that one will be key in bridging the gap.
Wow.
But our intention is not just to bridge the gap, because if we do, then we have met the demand
Yeah, very
of the
true.
water now.
Very true.
What we need to do is to secure the water for the next many years, and the second project will be doing exactly that.
Yes.
We are doing another treatment also near where our old treatment is, and that one will also inject another 20 million liters of water when complete.
Wow.
That will be securing water in Thika up to the year 2042, 2045.
2045.
That means
Wow.
that means moving forward, the people who will be in charge of the board will need to look through on how to. But then part of the reason as to why I'm running for office is so that I can be able to lobby
Yes.
the national government to help us in creating a dam, to dam the water upstream,
Yes.
so that we are able to store the water when there is a lot of water,
Yes.
and there will be constant supply of water into Thika town. Thika is growing with, at a very high rate.
Very true.
Thika and Roiro are one of the
Fastest
towns that
growing
are growing
towns in this
Kenya.
country.
So we will need to think about that aspect of water, and you cannot do that unless you have lived through when Thika had plenty of water,
Yes.
when water challenges started, when you have been in the process of doing something about it, and now you're looking forward to doing something that will be able to secure the water for long term. Yes.
You've mentioned lobby, resource mobilization
Yes.
many times.
Yes.
And also you mentioned you've been outside the country.
Yes.
So what are you having in mind in terms of mobilizing resources, financiers, and kind of investors for Thika people? What do you have in mind?
It's just forming broad-based partnerships. The good thing about working in the NGO sector and in the civil society sector is that you get to meet a lot of players in different kinds of sector. And water is something that brings all players on board. Thika is not the only place that has shortages of water.
Yes.
Water globally is a scarce commodity.
Yes.
We have more salty water than we do drinking
Fresh water. Yes.
but we also need to think about how we harvest this water in terms of rain harvesting and in terms of storage. Because if we don't do that, then we will not grow our agriculture, and we will also not be able to get water for domestic use. This harvesting needs to, there's an act that was passed in Parliament on water harvesting.
Yes.
And most urban areas and most buildings now have been directed to construct structures that will also be able to harvest rainwater whenever
Yes.
it comes. This way it helps you in reducing your water bills.
Very true.
And it is a conservation method that if then you will not be using a lot of treated water, water bills your water bills goes down, and we have more water, of course, to be able to be utilized for either industry or other things. So it is part of the challenges that we must meet, and part of the reason as to why we need someone who can be able to foresee these kind of things and be able to do it. And you see, Thika has a lot of people.
Very true.
Any of them is qualified to become an MP. But it takes bold steps, and it takes courage to agree that let one of us be able to be the one in there, and let all of us rally behind this person. And I've gotten a lot of encouragement and support from people, Thika residents, and that makes me more and more determined that this actually is the kind of thing that we need to have as a people.
Wow.
Yes.
Hemedi himself oozing wisdom from very, very young heart, and you wonder where has he been, because this is the time and he's about to high scale the implementation of the whole factors are facing water issues, industrial issues, education matters, environmental conservation, and it's just getting fantastic. So even as we conclude, I will ask Mheshimiwa, what is your slogan?
We have not think about that.
Yeah,
thought about that.
Yeah, I read somewhere it's time for Thika to rise.
Well, yes, it's time for Thika to rise.
Yeah, yeah.
This rise.
Yeah. So these people will need something to remember you for, like when they see a matatu pass there and they're like, that is Mheshimiwa, what will they see?
Maybe you can help me with that.
Yeah. Hemedi for 2022.
Yes, maybe, but we have a team that is very vibrant.
Nice one.
Thinking through.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. But something else that I did not mention when I told you that the work of a leader is one is to lobby for resources and for projects. The other thing is to create an enabling environment.
Wow.
For business to grow and for business to be started and for people to live cohesively.
Wow.
With each other.
Servanthood leadership.
You cannot do that if you're constantly politicking.
Yes.
And I don't consider myself a politician.
Wow.
I consider myself a leader.
I can feel that.
And I consider myself someone who can get the job done, or who gets the job done.
Wow.
I've gotten other jobs done, and this too is some part of the work that we can do. Someone asked me the other day, oh, what will happen to you now after 2027? Are you going to come back again?
Yeah,
and,
I was coming to that. We saw it in Mali. Young people decided, no, Mzee, you'll have to go home.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you going to stay there forever?
No. I have no intention.
Why?
No intention.
Power is sweet and that seat is warm.
I don't seek power.
Yeah.
I seek to empower people.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I like that. Repeat that again.
I don't seek power.
Yeah.
I seek to empower people.
I like that.
And you see, the problem of so many leaders is to surround themselves with the thinking that without them, the world is going to come to an end.
Yeah.
It is not true.
Wow.
I have no intention of coming back after my 5 years to ask Thika people, give me another chance.
Yeah.
If you're asking for another chance, then it means you have failed.
Yeah.
You failed in your first attempt.
Yeah.
That's why you're asking for another chance.
Very true.
So I have no intention of failing in my first attempt.
Wow.
Of the things that we have said we are going to do and the things that in the days to come we are going to be sharing in print and digitally. If I had set out to do 5 things and I have only managed to do 2 things, then the other 3 things can be done by someone else.
I like that. I wish Africa could get that from you.
Yes, we need to begin growing leadership.
Wow.
And to mentor leaders that it is not just Juma Hemedi that will be there. That the next time Phil is the one who's going to be filling this vacant
wow, I love that.
The next MCA for this place will come from this place. Let's form a leadership academy where we are motivating people and
passing the baton.
Pass the baton.
Yes.
The race to help this nation is not a marathon race where only you can race and finish.
Yeah.
It is a relay.
Very true.
You pass the baton to the next person, the next person moves on with it. And I have no intention of asking Thika residents for a second term when my term ends in 2027.
Unless they want you there.
No. Even if they want me there, there's always someone else who can come in and continue. Like I said, I'm not power hungry. I'm not hungry for public resources or public funds.
This is the most fresh I've ever had from a leader.
I want to serve the Thika people the best way I can. And I also want to retire from that position and live amongst them, happy that the work that I did can be seen and can be done. Yes.
That is patriotism and legacy that we miss in this country.
Very true.
So even as we exclusively conclude, there's someone out there, they need word of hope. You say something and they're like, Mheshimiwa, this one has given me the strength to wake up tomorrow again. I'm fighting COVID, I'm fighting dates, I'm fighting accidents and all that stuff. Talk to your people, face the camera, give them a word of hope.
All is not lost. And no matter how dark the day becomes, a new day will break. No matter how bad the situation is, tomorrow things are going to be better. So let's remain hopeful. Let's take charge of our lives. Let's take charge of our decisions and let's find leaders that are going to take us to that place that we all want. Let us find people who can be able to inspire us into becoming better, into becoming innovative, and into becoming creative. Let us not be swayed by things that will come or things that have been coming on issues on money. If you sell your right for good leadership in exchange for money, then you have lost the opportunity to be able to ask questions or for social accountability. You need to say yes to good leadership. You need to say no to these people who want to come and sweep you with euphorias and good things. So it is upon us. Our generation is now being asked to rise, and we must rise to the challenge. Thank you.
Wow, that comes from the leader himself, and they call me Philip McLeod. It has been a wonderful episode of Talking, Articulating Matters Leadership 2022. It is hashtag Countdown 2022 alongside Thika Town Today TV and Vunana TV. It is a matter of changing the future via the people that we have, people we trust, and people who are born here. Ours is to tell you, make sure whatever Mweshmu has told you, you implementing it. And even as he'll be there, he'll be only the driver, and you'll be the passenger enjoying the fruits of real leadership. Thank you so much. Till next time, make sure sharing this wonderful video. And till next time, when we're having such, it is Countdown 2022. Bye.